Good evening, Blue Noses. Welcome back to episode 2 of Unplugged. I am your host today, Josh. Today I am joined by Kieran. Welcome.
Hello.
Get straight into it today. First thing I want to talk about is we've got ourselves a nice little intro there. Kind of builds up the goosebumps. Definitely some history in there that we can see. So let us know all your thoughts on that introduction. Obviously, I'll be going forward on every video. But we'll get into today's video. We're going to talk about last weekend, discuss some of the results, some of the shocks that we've seen on the weekend, but also discussing club owners, as a lot of you football fans will know out there. Obviously, 3 years ago, we were taken over by Knighthead, having that good little run now, but some clubs like Morecambe and Sheffield Wednesday obviously in a bit of trouble. So we will discuss some things going on there and how EFL and maybe the FA need to change a few things going forward. But let's start with Friday night. Get straight to it. Kieran, give us your thoughts on the Ipswich game.
I was, first of all, very shocked by how aggressive we went in the team lineup. I thought we went for it a bit more than what I expected. But it's completely understandable. First home game, back in the Championship, full crowd. Why not go for it? And Davis has said many times, like, it's for other teams to come and disrupt our game rather than us to adapt to theirs. So understandable on that. But we played so good. I think we put a few people into place that were thinking we were going to get walked all over. I spoke to 2 Ipswich fans and they were expecting a 3 and a 4 nils. And I think we really claimed to the fact that we're not going to be a pushover this season. And if it wasn't for the referee, then we'd probably be talking a whole lot different to the result as well. But yeah, very, very pleased.
I think it was I was one of the unfortunate ones not to be able to get to the ground due to work commitments and stuff. But it was watching it on TV. You could hear through the TV the atmosphere, and I've said it in the past, and I'll say it all the time. We are probably one of the worst grounds to come to when we're sold out. We're up for it. Our fans are going and they're loud and singing and they're proud. I said it to a gentleman the other day. It was a Sheffield United fan doing a video with those, and I said that we're probably one of the most intimidating stadiums. But to the point that Wenger and Ferguson, when they've been asked in the past, what's the worst ground you've been to as an away coach, and both of them said St Andrews. I think it goes that home form is going to be very important this season. Obviously, we have got Blackburn away on the weekend for our first away game of the season. 7,033 tickets have been sold. Sold out allocation. We've got the full stand, and I think if we're going into away games like we did at Ipswich, it's going to be a good season. As I said, I spoke to a gentleman the other day that was a Sheffield United fan doing some up for their channel, and he said he had us predicted to finish 11th when they did their Championship predictions early in the season. And he said after that Ipswich game, he was like, easily playoffs. I can't see it not happening. So,
yeah,
like Darren said it here, being robbed on Friday by the referee, Mr. Kitchen, in the middle of the field, first situation 7 minutes in. Obviously, the Kyogo goal. I don't want to go.
That was an outrageous finish as well, by the way.
The worst thing is he doesn't do one; he does 2 in the game.
Yeah, that was just outrageous. The fact that he didn't even look; he just shot.
Yeah,
it was another. That was insane.
But obviously, that situation. I don't want to go too much into our game. Obviously, we've had our podcast that Tommy and Josh have done incredibly well on. That will go over the game in a little bit more detail. So make sure you check the podcast out as well. But obviously, the Kyogo situation, the goal not given, then 30 seconds later to be literally chokeslammed by the same defender, and a free kick not given. There was the Paik situation where he got the ball as clear as day, got the ball and he was flagged up on it. So I think you can
another great tackle.
it was a very good tackle. But one person I want to talk about that I don't think had enough praise from Friday that I'd love to get your thoughts on. Obviously, it's the first time a lot of our fans have seen Phil Neumann at the defence with Clara. I think he looked absolutely solid in that defensive partnership with him.
He sat next to Clara, and that's either going to do one or two things for someone. They're either going to work, or Clara is going to outshine him. And I think Neumann put his body on the line, did everything that he needed to, made some important tackles, headers. He was like Clara 2.0, but he's a little bit faster than Clara. And if that's what they look like already this early in the season, I'm really looking forward to when they got a consistent run of games together, and really, really understand how each other work, because that was phenomenal from the both of them. And Bright as well. He looked insane. Like he was so good again. I think he's going to be a bit of an underrated signing for us. I don't think many people were drawn to him as much as what maybe we should have been, with everything else going on in the window. That Bright Asai Samuel was again another level, and I
The
think the defense is going to be strong.
the only criticism I'd have with Bright, which is where it comes in good that your number 2 is Ethan Laird, was at about 70, 75 minutes, his legs looked gone. So
Which is
maybe,
completely understandable. He didn't
yeah,
stop
completely
running.
understandable, but maybe not. The fitness isn't quite there that he'd want at the moment.
But we're
Obviously,
also early on in the season, and he's
yeah,
also now having to run and press a lot. So I give him full credit, and if he gets to 70 minutes, that's great for us.
the fact he still played 90 minutes though, he battled through it, and obviously the unfortunate situation of Dykes handball giving a penalty away in the 94th minute. He was solid at the back. Even like I said, 75 minutes, his legs are gone, and he's still sprinting forward and backwards, and he's making those last minute challenges and blocking the ball out and using his strength. And I think he's going to, like you said, he's going to be a very big underdog this season for us.
Yeah,
A lot of potential, and I didn't really know much about him before he come, apart from the goal he scored past us, but he played left wing for that game, or left mid. So I didn't really know much about him. I know he'd gone out into Turkey and had a couple of years over there, and they thought quite highly of him. But it was to see him Friday was quite shocking to see how good he can be.
yeah,
And what obviously the difference between pre-season and the match. Pre-season they're not going 100%, but to see him at 100%, probably wouldn't even say he was at 100%. Probably 75% for 90 minutes was quite good. Obviously, then we come to the situation of Dykes handball, 94th minute penalty. The one thing that I want to get your thoughts on is not necessarily the penalty situation, but what happened after the penalty went in. With Chaplin booting the ball at the crowd, and obviously the story we've all seen it in the news at the moment about the fan trying to encroach. What are your thoughts with that whole situation?
I think Chaplin for a started that whole thing, and fair play for Clara for actually sticking up for the fans. Like they've said it in interviews and stuff that we're one club, and the fans, the people, the ownership, and that was really like he was fighting for us, because he saw that that was outrageous and went and confronted the situation straight away. The fan was a bit of a douche to go and do it, but at the end of the day, that doesn't happen if the penalty hadn't been given anyway. But if he hadn't have incited the crowd, then it doesn't happen. I'd never condone anybody trying to enter the pitch and encroach, and especially not to attack players. But I think it all stemmed from Connor Chaplin kicking the ball into the crowd like an absolute moron.
Totally agree. I don't condone the fans' reaction. I can understand why you're annoyed. I've seen it all on social media. Well, if it hit a kid or something like that, obviously you can understand. People are trying to protect their own, but to encroach. The only time I think it's acceptable to go on the pitch is when you've been promoted, but even those days are past us.
Or if you're dressed as a leprechaun.
Like you did, yeah. All right, moving past our game, obviously looking at some of the other results that went on the weekend. Early kickoffs, it was Charlton 1, Watford 0, Coventry 0, Hull 0, and obviously Wrexham, who are going to walk through the league, losing with 2 90-minute goals to Southampton 2-1. We'll start at Southampton. I watched the game Saturday afternoon, and Will still didn't quite look like he'd got the team going first half. They looked quite lazy and lackluster.
It's because he
But that
was
last
half
20
time. He
minutes
changed his attacking settings, didn't he, on the Xbox just to see. He's only
must
been
have.
doing that at 70 minutes. That's what he's been
Went onto
doing.
his Football Manager, spoke to his assistant. Yeah.
Yeah.
But second half, they didn't even let Wrexham have time on the ball, and they've been in a lot of people's predictions to be up there. If they play like that last 20 minutes, 25 minutes all season, don't think they're going to have any issues in this league. They looked quite a strong team. As always, as you're listening, guys, let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on. We're discussing all football teams today. We're going to discuss all fixtures. Let us know your thoughts and comments below. Keep the chat going. Yeah, so that was interesting to see from Southampton because I feel like they could be dark horses. And then I was looking at the results after to see that Charlton then went and scored a 94th minute win against Watford. I don't know if you've got any thoughts on them early kickoff games and results, but I feel like it's going to be a tasty season. Looking at a couple of
I
results.
I hate the Hollywood derby thing, but I think if we're comparing ourselves against anybody, it'd be them this year. And to see they lost and we drew, they threw away a lead as well, was quite nice. I think Southampton are bound to be up there. It's just whether we can. I think they're going to kick into it in a little bit later on. I think they, like you said, the last 20 minutes, the last 15, 20 minutes, they were unreal to play against. I think what you'll have is that come in more of the game. But genuinely, I don't think this year we should be worrying about other teams. Let's just focus on ours and what we're doing, and
Yep.
maybe not do that comparison this year as to who and what we're up against. I do think we've got a stronger league than what people are saying that we have.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely going to be a bit of a tougher season. I think people know the Championship is probably now one of the toughest leagues in the world. Just because on any given day a result can go to anyone. It is purely on the day. Some of the results we had on Saturday: Middlesbrough 1, Swansea 0, Norwich 1, Millwall 2, Oxford 0, Portsmouth 1, QPR 1, Preston 1, Stoke 3, Derby 1, West Brom 1, Blackburn 0. And then the other game that I'm going to come to, which was quite a shocking result from looking at it, in terms of Sheffield United 1, Bristol City 4. In May, they played twice, playoff semi-finals. They faced
Yeah,
each other, and Sheffield United won 6-0 in aggregate. 3 months later, they're losing 4-1 at home on the opening day of the season to the same team. Now,
yeah,
they haven't had a lot of changes. Okay, they've changed their manager. They've got rid of Chris Wilder and brought in this new guy. As I said earlier, I spoke to the Sheffield United channel the other day, and he said, which I thought was quite a shocking thing to say, was if they don't sort their act out now, the bottom two this season will be 23rd Sheffield United, 24th Sheffield Wednesday. To look at a team that was in the playoff final, was unfortunate to lose last year, if one of their fans is coming out and saying that, it makes you wonder what's gone on behind doors with players and managers. That in
yeah. After
three
you
months'
said that
time,
to me earlier, I went on and had a look on their Twitter and stuff, and it's just absolute meltdown on there.
yeah,
And they're expecting like us to put loads of goals past them and stuff as well. Where I'd have thought that would have been on paper quite a good game.
Yeah, so I looked at the predictions. Obviously, we play Sheffield United in the Carabao Cup tomorrow. We'll have a bit of talk on that a little bit later. But I went for a 2-1 prediction when I was talking to him on his podcast, and he went, "Oh no, you'll win about 3-4-0." And I was like, kind of taken back a little bit because I was like, "Why? Where's all this negativity come from?" And he explained to me that they've had obviously these new owners come in, and they've kind of put a big divide between the fans and the players.
Yeah.
And obviously, being Birmingham City fans and what we went through, BHS Allen, Carson Young, and all that, we know exactly how bad that can be for your club, having that little divide. And it was quite shocking to hear. And like you said, their social media is just full of negativity at the moment. So it's kind of it'll be an interesting one this season to see how they fare. Obviously, we'll get on to tomorrow in a minute, but yeah, losing 4-1 on the first day of the season to Bristol City is kind of
That was probably the biggest shock.
yeah. I'd
Of
say probably that
the
the fact
weekend.
that they beat them 3 months ago, 6-0 in aggregate, and were quite comfortable in them playoffs, and then Bristol City though saying that they looked quite comfortable on the ball, and I'd maybe gone for a mid-table finish this season, and maybe if they can keep up the way they played against Sheffield United, it could be potentially a push for playoffs again. And then if we look at Sunday, we'll get on to obviously club owners a little bit later, but Sheffield Wednesday, Leicester 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Obviously, the first 5 minutes of the game, 2,000 Sheffield Wednesday fans didn't enter the ground, went on and scored, but I think Leicester, if they can avoid a points deduction, could be quite comfortable in the league. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to the fans first of all for doing the protest, and that, like we know we're going to talk about that a little bit more later on. But I always deem that as a Leicester win, one way or another. And if they do avoid this point deduction, they're going to be a threat. But I still think they might get playoffs, even if they did have one.
The good thing to come out of that game from my point of view was it was nice to see Barry Bannon get sent off.
Yeah, I can't believe the guy's still playing. To be honest, he's a
The fact
muppet.
that we'll get into it a little bit later, but the fact that he stayed loyal and he signed a new contract kind of shows that he's not fussed about money. He just wants to play football. But
Yeah,
obviously, first weekend of football, it's going to be open in the table at the moment. We're currently sitting, I think it's 12th. Obviously, 45 more games to go. It's going to keep building, but I know you said you don't really want to discuss it because you shouldn't be comparing, but if you are putting us from that opening weekend worth of results, where are you? Is your prediction for where we finish changed, or are you still looking at where you thought before?
no, I still think think even more strongly, if anything, that the way that we played probably the most feared team in the league, that a lot of people are expecting to go away with the league this year. The fact that we took it to them and they reserved them to only one shot on target in 90 minutes, and that was a penalty that was weak. I think that's a huge accolade for Chris Davis. That's a huge building block for momentum. I don't think there's going to be a mass changes tomorrow. I know he said there'll be a slight squad rotation, but I don't think it'd be that much because he'll want the players to play more. It's almost a free shot at this point, so I don't think there'll be that much rotation. Your team earlier was very rotated, but I don't think it'd be quite that much.
Are we saying the first team that I put out and then everyone hounded me for, or are we going the second team that I put out that I've just been abused because I changed it?
Well, let's just go with the one where all the players are available. That'll probably be the best place to start. But yeah, I think we'll be second or third this year, and I still stick by that after that game. What about you?
So I've said fourth or fifth, since beginning of July, middle of July, once we got a few players off. We did the 6 in 6 days. I think it was after that look at the squad, we went and beat Sevilla, I'd say probably the Forest game. I said, okay, we've got a good. Maybe look at sitting in playoffs. I reckon fourth or fifth would be good. Yeah, I still think we're there. I feel like there's a few of them that can come back and haunt. I'm just going to jump to this comment because I know you've just looked at your shirt because you've seen it.
I have no idea.
The shirt is the season we signed Lyle Taylor. I want to say 2019, 20, maybe after that.
I love this shirt. I love a yellow away kit.
It was a season that we signed Chuck Sanike. I want to say it was before.
I have no idea. I'm terrible with that sort of stuff.
It was the first season we had Deeney. If anyone can remember that sort of season.
They put the 1920 season.
It's a 21-22 season.
2021,
2022.
Good old Boyle Sports.
Data for you. That is where I am going to pan the conversation. Next is, yes, Birmingham City today have obviously announced a new third kit. All red. Thoughts on that one? Because
the cheeky buggers getting red, white, and blue in.
Americanization or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Americanization of our club. Oh my god, red, white, and blue kits. I like it. I was actually having a look at the details and stuff, and I don't think I've ever seen a kit with that sort of pattern on it. It does look a little bit odd. It's not as bad as that one that looked like it had a swastika on it. But I do like. I am a bit of a fan of it, to be honest. The more I look at it, the more I like it, and I think when I see it in person, I'm going to really like it.
Yeah, see, I'm not a fan. I was kind of expecting something a little bit more celebratory for 150 years.
Yeah.
Kind of with all three kits in the nicest way possible, been let down the fact that we haven't got that symbolic mark. Like the only
even
thing
an old crest on that red one would have made a huge difference.
But even when you look at the home top, the only thing they really changed was that they put 1875 to 2025 on the badge. I think we kind of all knew after winning the league last season we were going to have gold on our kit. I'd have liked to have seen some white because we are blue and white. But again, I like it for our home kit. It looks smart with the blue shorts and socks. The away kit, I know you're not really a fan of it. My favourite one from last season was the white one. So seeing another white one with a pattern that's on it, well, the basic pattern that's on it is. I quite like it in person, but the red one, from what I've seen so far, obviously I'm only judging off what we're seeing online from the photos. But
yeah,
I'm not a fan, if I'm honest, because I think it's more the fact I just expected more being 150 years, something unique and something that we'd go, oh wow, rather than oh okay, it's just another red kit. So.
I do think last year's kits were significantly better. To be honest, the blue and white strip was perfect. That black and orangey red color was one of my favorite kits we've had in a long time, and the white and green, even though we never played in it, was nice, and that's almost on par with this year. They're very boring this year. I was expecting something magical for the third kit, if I'm honest. Like, yeah, do it red, but do it something that throws back to heritage. Put the old Small Heath Alliance badge on it. Put the old BCFC letters on it. Make it different. Make it iconic. So you'll look back in kits in years to come and go, oh, that was 150 because it was special. Like we had the last anniversary, we had the strip across, and we had all like the players' names in it. That was something unique. That was something awesome. It marked that year. But obviously, this year we haven't. that stripe across the thing. I thought I'd like it more in person. I don't. It looks
There's a
like it
lot
was a
of
mistake.
people that have spoke about. Oh, I can't remember the spot. Is it Ansals we used to have? There's a red and white away kit we used to have probably back in the 90s. A lot of people, when they saw red, were like, "Oh, we'd like this back," and then they brought it back into the club shop as a retro kit. But it makes you question the going off. Obviously, when Gary Cook was our CEO, he brought in Nike on this big deal with Undefeated.
Yeah.
Obviously, I put it in our group chat earlier, just questioning to see what lads thought, get opinions of. Does that maybe come to an end last year? Because there's a lot of negativity online around the kit that Nike are just plain and boring. And you look at Adidas at the moment at bringing out retro kits as away kits and are absolutely smashing it with some of their kits. You got other brands that are bringing out good, and it's one of those where I'm just wondering: do we potentially look at ending that deal with Nike and Undefeated next season, or do we only have Nike because we have Undefeated in that deal?
Well,
Do you see anything changing next year?
I also got excited for this year's kit because we were told that with the Nike deal now we'd have our own personal kits and they won't be um the set pattern kit for Nike. Yeah, it's not. It's just we've seen the kits just with other people, but that is a question that I think we'll stick with Nike. I think we really will, especially after Adidas putting that on the bull and stuff like that and throwing shade. I don't think that's a way to ever get us back. So I do think we'll be sticking with Nike. Huge name, also goes hand in hand with Undefeated. So I'd say that was the
I
situation
think,
there with that.
I think Nike and Undefeated as well. I watched a podcast earlier. We'll get onto the podcast a little bit more in a bit. But it was a podcast called Men in Blazers. And they've recently done a podcast with Tom Brady, was the one that I was watching. Do recommend if anyone's out there that wants a good watch. It is a good watch and listen to. I said we'll get to some points in a bit. But they were talking about how British clubs go in American now and trying to promote it over there. And Brady says something about you see a lot more of our clubs over there, a lower league football, and understanding the roots of our clubs and stuff like that. You see it on social media as well. There's a gentleman, I think you've spoke to him a few times. This American, they're trying to get him over for a game this season.
Oh, Tom.
Yeah, Tom.
Tom.
And you see him, he tweets every game and he's tweeting always about it and he's trying to. You see how much it's taken off over there. I think Undefeated are massive with that, having their big stores that they do. And with Nike being in that and being a partnership with it, where you've got Brady with Nike and then Michael Jordan, LeBron, and all that. I just think, I just think they need to have a look at getting something better and more unique to us. Seen somebody put up on earlier that was like, what would have been nice would have been a shirt with the skyline of Birmingham on, even if it's the view you see from the back of the Go Merrick. I feel like that would have been a nice little kit to have had, where it's personalised to us rather than generic.
I think we will get something like that down the line. I'm just a bit sad that it wasn't this year, and they're just template
I feel like this
designs.
year would have been the perfect time to have gone all out with kits and put everything into it. And it seems like they've just kind of gone 150 years. Yeah,
They
here's
had the
some
chance
blue
to
and
do the
gold.
funniest thing though and announce it as a American flag. The hashtags that would have been unreal. That would have generated so much money if they'd have put out a fake Union Jack kit, American flag kit, just because of the whole Americanization of football in the UK at the moment. That would have been actually quite funny, I think. And then admin could have had a laugh and then revealed our real kit. But
That is one thing that I want to get onto of talking. I know that they don't get much appreciation, but admin the last couple of years, Birmingham City admin is on it. Our announcement videos are cracking, and the fact that after the Forest game they tweeted saying to the Nottingham Forest owner or something.
Yeah,
I feel like the whole setup at Blues now on social media is that they're going to try and cause a reaction.
yeah,
Obviously, the more reaction we get, the more pay we get, and it works. And all these clubs that are like, "Oh, Birmingham at it again, Birmingham," at it," they're just paying for Jay Stansfield, they're paying for Kyogo, they're paying for Gray. I don't
yeah.
think they quite understand what our owners have done when it comes to that. But I just love the fact that they wind up on Twitter and they just don't care. It reminds me a bit of Audi.
They're
You know,
bait fishing. It's
you always get
epic.
the funny Audi tweets, don't you, around
Yeah,
Christmas and other things and stuff. And Blues are like that, but of the football world, they just don't care because they get the reactions.
and I think the FEA um, acronym that has been brought in is to everything. Let's make other people hate us, because when they hate us, they talk about us, and when they talk about us and use hashtag BCFC, we earn money from it. So let's embrace it. Let's rile everybody up. Let's be that team. Let's be the team everybody hates, because they come to us and then we can give it them back. And that's when Birmingham are on top.
I'm
So
just going to pinpoint this comment because Port Vale have smashed their kits this season. Um, they're obviously 150 years as well. Their kit is so basic, but the fact that it looks retro at the same time, it's such a smart little kit.
I haven't
But their
seen it
away kit as well. I'll see if I can get the photo up on here.
because I can't leave the stream because I'm on my phone.
So they've got.
This is going to be a
Like,
terrible picture now, isn't it?
so it's
That's
not going
just
to.
white. No.
That is basically their kit. Let me try and find it on like a dark background. So their kit is basically just plain white,
Yeah.
black
Sleeves,
collar,
black colour.
black sleeves, gold Puma logo, and then PVFC rather than their badge. They've just got PVFC in
Okay.
gold. And that is literally their kit of.
The white and gold, I think, would have looked really nice if
Yeah,
they'd done that for the middle kit without that strip. They could have just done white and gold, and it would have looked perfect.
but I think Port Vale are definitely one of those where it's like they've smashed it out of the park. I don't know if this is going to show any better. No, that's not, is it? There you go.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
So it's quite a retro-looking kit. It's just a basic old logo, what they originally used to
Yeah.
have. It's plain, but it's smart at the same time, and I think they've absolutely smashed it with their kit this season, and that is one of the best. But yeah, we'll move on from kit. Obviously, that was announced today. We will go on to tomorrow. Tomorrow we have round one of the Carabao Cup at home to Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Obviously, we touched on them earlier, having a bit of a poor start. They're going to have their players are going to be up for it to try and make redemptions from the weekend. Obviously, we spoke about squad rotation. If you haven't seen Chris Davis's pre-match press conference, check it out. He has a discussion about Marvin Dutch's a couple of weeks coming back into training now, a couple of weeks away. Kanya Fujimoto potentially on the bench from the team that I did earlier. But he said about squad rotation, and I think that's going to be key this week. We've got 3 games in a week from Friday to Blackburn again on Saturday. What do you reckon of tomorrow? Obviously there's not many tickets sold, so it's not going to be a big loud atmosphere. But
Yeah.
are you interested in the cup run, or are you not really fussed about it?
I'd love a cup run because it gives you many different opportunities. It brings a feel good feel, and you know me, I don't do anything other than want to win, and like I'm very competitive. So for me, I would have a cup run and just win the lot. And I don't think I'd ever play a weaker team. Hiya Jay, you okay? But no, I wouldn't. I would not player weakened team. I would have a bit of squad rotation because, like you said, it's three in a week. But I would have maybe Beadle in goal, put Laird on, and give Bright a rest. I wouldn't really change much else. Maybe Mark Leonard in the centre. But I think any of the new players that come in, other than Bright, I think we should pretty much keep them up, make sure they play tomorrow, just to
The
give them a bit
only
of
thing
gel
that
in it,
I'm thinking
competitive
is
environment.
if you go off that basis of changing Laird and Beadle, the only two coming in really, it does make me question where does then Willemsen have a spot in the squad? Because I feel like this is the kind of game he'd play. Tommy Doyle obviously missed last
Yeah.
Friday due to illness. So do you start him tomorrow and give him the chance to show fans what he's got? Obviously, you mentioned Leonard in the middle. Do you maybe give Pakin and Watter that time off and you give Taylor Gardner Hickman and Leonard in that central role a bit of a play? So you've got
Yeah, and then you
Taylor
put Tommy Doyle in
Gardner
front.
Hickman, Leonard, and Doyle. Yeah.
But
And then maybe Willemsen out on the right and something like that. So
I don't think Willemsen's going to play much for us this season. He's really got to do something special in training, I think, to get an opportunity. He had huge opportunities last year. He's had a few opportunities through pre-season. I don't think he's to the level of some of the players we've got up there. So I don't feel like just because it's a cup run, we should be playing the people that aren't necessarily making the team. If there's a second option, like I'd put Doyle in over him.
yeah. The only thing I'd go off, well, I saw a comment on someone put it on Twitter earlier, would be, do you play Leonard and Willemsen or Taylor Gardner Hickman if you're looking to clear out? Do you play them tomorrow, hoping that they have that good game and catch the eye of someone that might be like, oh, actually, we'll come in and buy him and kind of get him gone? Obviously, him not playing and only doing pre-season games, teams aren't really going to look at it. They'll look at the start of the season for the last couple of weeks of the season, last couple of weeks of the transfer window. Sorry, but do you play him tomorrow just to A, give him game time to keep him happy, but B, to kind of go and show other teams what you've got, and get yourself that move?
In that basis, if you're the club, no, because what if he sustains an injury tomorrow? Then we're just paying him to sit on the bench. Like, I wouldn't play him just to try and sell him. If people have enough footage on him and everything to get there, they won't be rush buying him. But I just don't see how he gets into the team. From the people we've brought in, I just think he's now the bottom of the rung, and I think he gets in if someone else gets injured. In my opinion, that is. Obviously, there's other people in the chat saying Davis likes him, and he costs us a lot of money, but it doesn't necessarily mean that this year he's going to get in. I think we've seen with Alfie May, we would be a bit ruthless when it comes to team selection and stuff. So I think Thor is just another one of those. Don't even get me started on Dykes. I would not put him anywhere near my first team, or my second team. But he's again does what he needs to do. He gave away the goal the other day because he jumped like a moron, and it does brush his fingers and it's soft, but don't jump like that. You don't give it away in the first place. But it is what it is. As soon as we brought Dykes on, my missus said to me, "We're gonna draw now or lose," and all we did was bring Dykes on, and there she is. She's right, and he's the one that gave away the penalty. And like you sit there and you go, "Cool, that's exactly
Would it be?
what she was saying."
Could Dykes be one of those players tomorrow that you play? Obviously, they've had a poor start. Sheffield United have, and potentially have shown a fair few weaknesses that Davis will analyse to the T. Obviously, we all know from watching the documentary that he likes to analyse the opponents a lot and do every bit of research on them that he can. So will he have watched that game Saturday night and gone, okay, well, I could use that player there, or they're not quite comfortable in the air. So that would be wherever someone like a Dykes, or if he could head a Willemsen, would
Yeah,
be useful. Do you reckon that potentially could be a way, with them having such a poor start, that maybe he looks at it and there could be a slot for him just to come in,
I
maybe a
think,
goal or two that could build his confidence, and because he's definitely a confidence player, but
yeah,
goal or something that could build his confidence and get him going.
I don't think a goal in a game gives him confidence. He'd have to score in multiple games in a row, and he's not going to get that chance. Um, I do think the only way we see Willemsen or Dykes this season is through injuries to others, and or it's a 2-minute cameo at the end or something like that. I'm surprised he brought Dykes on the other day, but as soon as you got Dutch on the bench, Dykes leaves the bench, doesn't he? Really, in that sense,
David has put here, Willemsen and Taylor Gardner-Hickman both going to struggle for game time this season.
I think
Before
Leonard
I
will.
touch on that, I do want to say congratulations again, David, on the sign frame. It couldn't have fouled to a better person to have won it. Obviously, we come over and delivered the prize to you and had a good conversation, and honestly, we're really happy that you won it. So congratulations.
Yeah,
But yeah,
congratulations, David.
Willemsen and Taylor Gardner-Hickman both going to struggle, and I think Taylor Gardner-Hickman's the one that I'm a bit more disappointed about, because he had that good run in the squad last season where I think it was like 3 or 4 games in a row he scored, and he seemed like a complete different player. And then I think Wembley, he had such a bad um, showing in that game
Yeah,
that kind of knocked his confidence the rest of the season. Where I feel like the point he was getting to at that right back was Laird was finding it hard to come into the team. So I kind of feel sorry for him at the moment, because I feel like he's one of those players that he has got potential to be a great player in this team. Ahead of Pakin and Watta, probably not. Maybe on par with playing with Doyle on the side there, but I feel like, like David said, he's going to struggle to take game time.
yeah. I think inconsistency is going to cost people this year. You need to be able to come in and be at 10-10 straight away. And you've seen that with people like Neumann, Bright. They've come in, got the drill, straight to it. Where we've had Willemsen for a year. He come in, he smashed it originally, drifted off after his injury, and he's not been the same since. And then Dykes again. You can't have a player whose highs are high and his lows are really low, because you're just carrying that person half the time. And I don't think Taylor Gardner-Hickman is quite as competitive an option. Again, he's a great player, and I think he'd get into most of the championship teams. But in those positions, we are very loaded right now, and I think he'll be a player that we rely on out of those three the most.
Going on another player that's not really been mentioned much since he signed on the permanent, Alphonse Samsted, obviously coming on a permanent over the summer. Does Samsted become backup for left back? Is he that replacement left back? We've got challenging Cochrane, with obviously Buchanan still being, as far as I'm aware, quite a while away from injury. Come back from injury. Is Samsted going to challenge Cochrane, or is he one of those players where it's kind of, again, we've signed him on a permanent because we got promoted, and it's kind of now going to be, actually, we probably shouldn't have
Wait,
agreed
Bradford
to
have
that
beaten
part of
Blackburn 2-0.
I'm doing in the yeah, they are at
Wow.
Blackburn as well.
Wow.
4 minutes gone, and there was 2 goals. It's now 14 minutes in now, but after 4 minutes, it was 2 goals.
Jesus.
But yeah, Alphonse Samsted's one of those where I'm feeling like, is he kind of just forgotten about, or is it not many people looking at him as a left back alternative, where obviously he's a full back by trade? That is his position. Is it one of those where he could slot in at left back if he needs to do a job? Maybe tomorrow does he play left back and Laird right back kind of thing?
Samstead, again, when Buchanan's back, doesn't get in the team for me. But at the moment, we'll have to use him for versatility. I don't know how versatile he is. I think he's been okay when he's come on the pitch for us. But when you're sitting behind the Alex Cochrane and Buchanan, you got no competition there from him. I think we keep him at the moment because we are so thin at the back, and we keep him to fill that thinness, if you like, to thicken the squad out a bit more.
Team thing earlier when I posted it was Laird, Bielik, Cashin, and Samstead, the back four. I said about tomorrow. I feel like that's a complete change, and it could potentially be the second defensive options we've got. Obviously, it makes a difference. Birmingham City saying they've got a full back four second for the first team. But does he give Neumann a rest on the basis of he's going to be new into this tense, or does he give him another 90 minutes again and say, here you go, just get used to it because this is going to be one of the better teams we come against? Your first two games at Ipswich and Sheffield United, two teams that people think are going to be up there. Let me just stick you in both those games and do that, or do you reckon Neumann's going to be one of those? And Clara as well is used to League One, but Championship's going to be a bit stronger players.
Those two look phenomenal, though.
They do look incredible. I'm just thinking more. Neumann had a hip injury back in April, I believe it was. Come back too soon, did his hip again, so he spent most of April out with a hip injury. So does he think about that on the basis of his decision tomorrow, saying,
yeah, then you get Cashin in, I think.
Yeah. Stop Cashin right.
He came on the other day. He did great for the short time he was on. But I wouldn't, if I was Chris Davis wants to win matches, and he's got Tom Brady stood behind him, that if we don't win, it's kind of like, why didn't we win? So he's got that mentality as well, and I think that's how I'd play, and I'd just want to play my first team, give or take maybe a few people who maybe really need, like Bright, for example. We were saying after 70 minutes he was gassed. Take him off, give him a little bit of a rest for the game, so he's fully ready again for the weekend. But I wouldn't change that much. Paken and Awata, we know they've got the engines in them. Would I change them for the sake of changing them? Probably not. Stano, I'd probably give Stano a rest if Kyogo was going up front on his own, because obviously he didn't have much of a rest during pre-season. Obviously he had England and then all the way to the finals, and then he went straight to pre-season, so he didn't really have much of a rest. So I think maybe give Stano a little bit of a break and put Kyogo on up front. And that's all I'd really change, to be honest.
Keeping Anderson on the pitch, obviously knowing in the past in the Championship he's had them issues of injury and cramp again the other day. Do you maybe not start him? That's where I say someone like Willemsen come in and play on that wide position that he has in the past. Or is it putting Anderson on for maybe 60 minutes and then you bring in and maybe change that into that second formation that you can play?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Everybody in the comments will do a different layout for this. For me, I'd stick with as much normality as possible. Get those players playing together, get them all understanding each other, keep everybody sharp, and rest if it's necessary. I don't think we take our foot off the gas for this at all.
So what's your score prediction's going to be for tomorrow then?
3-1 Blues.
And want to go with a goal scorer at all?
Kyogo and Pake.
Kyogo getting 2 or Pate getting 2?
All right, Kyogo, Pake, and I think we'll score from a corner tomorrow.
Also, Beadle? Yeah.
I don't know. From a corner, let's go with Neumann.
Still 2-1. I feel like maybe they score first, early the first half. Second half, we'll get an early goal and then don't want to leave it too late. Maybe a 70th minute goal and get a bit comfortable. I'm going to go Gray. And you know what? I'm going to go Willemsen.
Gray looked really quiet the other day. He looks great when he's on the ball, but he was drifting in so central because he's on the wrong wing. He was drifting in so central, and we're so used to playing with those wingers on the touchline. So I think we were playing out to go out that way, and then he was in central. So I think that was a bit of a.
David's going Blues, Doyle and Laird. Laird's not a bad shout, to be fair, to score, because he scored quite a couple last season, and he
loves his cheeky goal, does Laird.
The thing with Laird that I absolutely loved about last season was no matter how much he pushed forward, and he would always do it where he was like a rocket forward, but then he was the same getting back. And we had that question the first season when we got relegated. It was like, he's injury prone. Is he going to be able to stay? And then he got his injury, and then he come back. He had a couple of good games. It was like, I think it was more blame the players.
Yeah.
Of being around those players like Bakuna and stuff like that just didn't care. Maybe he kind of got the same energy of that's how he could be at the club. But then last season you saw a complete different player, and he was incredible. One of the better players in the team, and you can see why it was hard. And going off that basis, you can see why Bright Asai Samuel was getting all the praise he is.
Yeah.
To take out Laird out of the team when he's done what he did last year.
Laird's also just great to be in and around the team. You see how much of a laugh and a joke he is, and how much camaraderie he brings into them.
Found the joker of the group, and I seen something the other day that was a photo of Ethan Laird sat on the bench and he looked sad. And everyone knows the meme of "Great, now you've made Son cry," and someone put a tweet out was like, "Great, now you've made Laird sad." First time in my life I've not seen Laird with a big cheesy smile on his face, and I was like, every time you see him, he's just got a big grin on his face.
Yeah.
But when he's on that pitch and you see that I'll say like that mist come over his eyes and he's just bolting forward. Like David said it here, our best athlete last year when fit. And he is an absolute monster when he is fit. And I kind of wonder what's going to happen with him this season. If it's going to be not a set right back, are we going to utilise majority of a team and we're going to switch between Laird and Bright Asai Samuel?
Depending I think if they're both on the pitch together, what they were doing the other day is really switching up. So if one overlapped, the other one really dropped back, and they know what they're doing in both of those roles, and that versatility can become strong. Someone's just put "Pake me up." We got Kyogo. That's made me laugh. Pake me up. We got Kyogo. We've got Iwata and Fujimoto. There we go.
New song for you.
There
Get out singing around the Tilton tomorrow. But yeah, Laird is one of those players where it's like, on his day, he's incredible. MZA, Kings, but Laird just can't cross the ball. He's great in all other areas. I think that's where the challenge from Bright Asai Samuel comes in.
Yeah.
Because Samstead can't really cross the ball either. So Laird didn't have to be that good to be the better one. If you've got someone like Gray coming in who's predominantly just going to whip balls in, or you've got Bright Asai Samuel coming in and he's whipping balls in, I think it's only going to give Laird that opportunity of, right, I need to start practicing this and improving this and getting better and improving it. So I feel like this season's going to be good for him because it's going to be a challenge for him. I don't think at the moment in a blue shirt he's really had that right back challenge.
Yeah,
Obviously, the season we went down, he had Cody Drame, who again was a good player but wasn't that high of a challenge. Last season he had Samstead. It's obviously the same thing again. So I think this year when he's got a player coming in that's maybe that pip that little bit just to be a bit better of a player.
I
I
also
think might
think we're going to
make a
see
decent
a different side of him because he's been consistently fit now for a long time.
Yeah,
So he's really able to now hone in on improving little areas rather than just getting back up to fitness and staying fit. And I think we'll really see a difference this year in Ethan Laird. There's a reason he was at the Manchester United academy
yeah.
and doing so well. And like I believe we're going to see that side of him today.
I've seen it from a couple of the loan spells he had, and he managed to keep himself fit. And he is just a workhorse up
But
and down that
also,
right.
if you've used your legs running as much as he has, I think I'd struggle to cross the ball after time. I'd struggle to get off the floor. So if he has got Bright there with him and he has all Gray in front of him and he's doing a lot less running, he's going to have fresher legs for crossing the ball. So I think that could come into play as well. Um,
The
and
only
really
question I'd be
impact
going
him.
off is, apart from the fact that Kyogo can jump about 10 foot because he's got a spring
Madness.
on him,
Yeah.
but at what point are we going high in the box? Because Dutch is only 6'2", so he's not quite Dukey height,
But he
but
can header.
he can header a ball, yeah. But when you come up against defenders that are 6'4", 6'5", which majority of league defenders now are around that region,
Yeah.
Dutch is just as good with his feet as he is with his head. So would you not prioritize playing with your feet more and playing that lay them off and set back that kind of football,
No, I think
or
I
do we
think
still try and look the surprise across the box?
the way we do that is like we make sure the people crossing are better crossers. Like put it on his head rather than on the defender's head just in front of him, or
Yeah,
make sure that ball's perfect. And when you got people like Gray crossing in the ball, and Keshi, they're pretty good at that, getting the ball to where exactly it needs to go. So I think he could thrive with his head in this chat. I would absolutely love a Juki in this team. Like just because the balls being crossed in are going to could be insane. Win the ball back, get it out wide, cross the ball in, and every single time, 100 times out of 100, Duke hits it in the net. Um, like I'd love a Dukey in this, but obviously we haven't. And
with
I
legs
think
would be
I
good.
think um, Dutch could come in and play that side of it, but he can also bang one home with his feet. Um, so I think that's going to be quite a. I think Dutch is the direct replacement for Duke in terms of what they do in our team.
But Dutch is a bit. I'd say Dutch is a bit more
On Dukey,
versatile because
yeah,
he's got a bit more movement. Dookie, as much as he's a legend, let's be fair, the last season he didn't really have much legs. He just about scored that goal in front of the Tilton, which saw absolute mental scenes. But you can see his legs were just shattered. Um, Going on to then the weekend, like I said earlier, we've got 7,033 fans travelling to our first away game of the season, Ewood Park, Blackburn Rovers. Again, haven't had a good start. As far as I'm aware, they are still losing 2-0 to Bradford. Um, what are your thoughts on we obviously were at Blackburn when we had that 1-1 draw in the FA Cup, and that was a
yeah.
mental atmosphere. More fans going this time. So, what are your thoughts on that game?
I think that's going to feel like a home game almost for the for the players. When we're away, we're loud anyway, but
Yeah,
7,000 blue noses. Like we've been in the atmosphere at 5,000 odd in Bolton, and I could barely hear for 2 days without hearing Birmingham City songs. 7,000 away fans is ridiculous, and I do think we're gonna go big. I do think we're gonna go big.
Are we going to put 5 past them there?
You know what?
MZA
Let's go.
said here.
I'll go with that. 5-0. I think Davis will want to go there and make a statement.
That's one
And
thing that Blues never really have done in the 27 years that I've followed them is I couldn't actually pinpoint you a game where we've gone to, apart from maybe 1 or 2 last season, where we've actually turned up at a game, we've got 2-0 up, and we've carried on and just beaten teams. We don't seem to be like that. We always seem to get 1 or 2-0 up, and then we just seem to off. I think we had a game last season that was 6-0 maybe, and a 4-0 the week after. Also, one of them was Barnsley. Barnsley and Mansfield, I think, were the 2 games towards the end of the season, where we just went and didn't care and beat them up. But do we make that point early in the season that we are just going to absolutely smash teams and not care, we're not going to stop? Or do we still try and play 2 or 3 and then stop?
I think we go in and go hell for leather, and I'd get 3-0 up and then make wholesale changes. That's what he seems to do quite regularly. If we get to a comfortable point, he'll make big changes. But I reckon let's go 5-0. Yeah, I reckon we could go and make a scene and make a statement, and I think that's what Chris Davis will be being pushed from the board. And if we go and make a statement now, we've gone out and said we're back and we're back a different team.
Yeah.
We've then gone and proved that we are a different team against Ipswich, and that they've clung on by a referee decision in the 94th minute. Let's then take our next game and wipe the floor with them. And I think that'll be the direction he goes, because then we've got everybody off our backs, and we can go back to just being, let's get in, let's do the work we need to do and do it over. I think a statement's going to be made at the weekend.
Just going to touch on the point that you made a minute ago. You talk about our fan base when we go away. We've been in some of those away ends, but some of the things I've got here. So Blackburn, we've sold out at 7,033 fans.
Mm-hmm.
Oxford at home the following weekend is also sold out. Was announced by the club earlier. And then the following Friday, we go away to Leicester, and it's 3,237 tickets have been sold out again. Leicester away, just before the international break. I don't know if I've ever heard or seen or know of a fan base that do it quite like the Blues. That at the moment it's all good. We're going to sell out every home and away game. Even when we had that poor season, we still sold out away games because we make sure we are there. How I know they talk about it a lot that fans are actually a big part of a team and getting behind them and supporting, but from your own personal point of view, how big is that to players, do you reckon, and to the management team and the owners of seeing 7,033 tickets sold and 3,237 sold to go away? How big is that to them, do you reckon?
Well, it goes to show how much the crowd support works when we play at home. Like when the fans are there, when we were sold out, we didn't lose. Other than the Newcastle game, and that's because we're against top end Premier League opposition. I think our fans are another level when it comes to travelling. You hear them on the TV if you haven't managed to get the game, and you can always hear them singing, and we outsing home fans quite often. So I would say it's very important, and you hear the players say it all the time, like the fans are unreal, they get us through, they give us that extra 10%, blah blah blah. And from when I was playing high level sports before, you do when you've got that, when you can hear the fans and you're like, Tom Brady says it in the documentary. He says that inner bitch in your head when you're like, oh, can't go anymore. I'm so tired. I need to go. Blah blah blah. When you've then got 7,000 people going, fucking go, let's go, like let's go, singing your songs, supporting you. You're like, all right, I'll do it. It's 13 more minutes, 14 more
Yeah,
minutes, whatever, and you get to it. I think our fans are great at that, and when the fans are there, they're loud, they're proud, and win, lose or draw, they're going to show up. And I think that's hugely important when it comes to mentality for games.
KRO 1875's put this one. The season ticket holder gutted not to get an away ticket. Still trying their low, but just shows our fans are class. And they
Yeah,
really are. Apart from you get the odd one or two dickhead that wants to turn up and thinks they know everything about the club and whatever, but they're just there to do whatever. Um, our fans are incredible, and they do follow home and away as much as they can, and it shows you when the results are going the best way. What can be done?
yeah,
Like a point I made the other day was I can't actually remember the last time a team come to St Andrews and outsang us at home, and it's very rare that
I do.
I can even
Rangers.
think about times it's happened.
Was it Rangers last pre-season?
Yeah, but that's the point I'm going. That had to take a high team to do something like that. Even when Newcastle come, they weren't they were
No.
loud, but they weren't the loudest. It's one of those where if I think like I'm pretty sure I read the other day, we're unbeaten at home since the Sunderland game in the Championship last time we were there. I don't think we've lost at home, apart from Newcastle,
Yeah,
uh,
we were unbeaten last season there.
which is a very good thing to go. Amzadeh has put, "Will you lads be going to Blackburn?" Unfortunately, not.
We will
We
not
do
be
have,
going.
I believe, Tommy is going, and a few of the other lads from Blues Focus will be going. So obviously there will be the vlog out and some reactions um, to that after the game. So keep your eyes out for those. But no, unfortunately, I won't be going. Uh, Kids in the way, unfortunately. Um, let's move on to the other segment we're going to talk about of club owners.
Yeah,
Um, Obviously, we know it at the moment. We've got the best in the world. There is no question to that. And as I mentioned earlier, listen to them on the podcast. I listened to them. I listened to the Tom Brady one after I'd come across the Tom Wagner one, but I couldn't find the Tom Wagner one in full to watch. So I will have a look out for it. But Wagner said the start of the video scene of his was the aim is the Premier League. There's no doubt about that. That's where we want to be. And if we're not in the Premier League in the next couple of seasons, it's a fail. We need to reassess where we're thinking and where we're going and what we're doing because we need to be there. And it kind of, you said, we'll reassess plans and strategy and make actions that need to happen when they need to happen. And that made me think back to obviously when they first come in, they brought Rooney in. That
yeah,
was an action obviously didn't need to happen. They've obviously gone through the whole process, got Chris Davies, and they're now put in that place. He also stated they talk a lot about the aim to get to the Premier League to help build confidence and culture around the club, which was instilled into the club by Tom Brady. When they first arrived in training in and around the complexes in the stadium, a lot of the players, the management, the cooks, the cleaners, the receptionists and stuff, a lot of it was all negative energy.
yeah,
Oh, we're going to be lucky if we stay up this season before the season's even started. He said, where now that he's going in and he's having that conversation of, could you believe that maybe next year you're going to be a receptionist for a Premier League club? Or, oh my God, we're going to the Premier League. Our aim is the Premier League, Premier League,
yeah.
Premier League, Premier League, Premier League, Premier League.
It's
And it kind of
positive
changed the whole
affirmations and
atmosphere.
speaking it into existence. Lots of top athletes and millionaires do that, is speak it into existence, positive affirmations. we will be there, because the moment you think you're going to lose, you've already lost. And
Yep.
that's like going into a boxing match hoping you finish second. Like, that was the best analogy that I was ever given when I was coming up through sports, was the moment you think you've lost, you might lose, you've lost. It's like going into a boxing match and hoping to finish second. Like, that's such an elite mentality, and that little change can make a huge difference. And when you're talking about the amount of little changes that they've done in terms of like positivity and mental coaching and everything, and then you add all the big stuff in, like bringing in better players and better facilities, better recovery, those marginal gains are going to be monumental gains by the time they've all added up. And I think that's huge from Tom Brady to say that
Yep.
sort of stuff. And obviously it is being bought in from the academy, from the management, from the owners, to the management, to the players, to the academy, to the cleaners, to the car park attendants, and it ultimately to the fans. I've never felt so positive going towards games in a long time, and and that's something that we deem down to Tom Brady's mentality with that.
Yeah. So obviously they're moving on to, I think, Tom Brady's podcast after.
Yeah.
When I found it and was giving it a watch, it's like it's about a 50-minute podcast. And you learn a lot about Tom Brady as a person, not just Tom Brady, the NFL star that we know, or Tom Brady, our club owner, who hasn't got a clue about football, as a lot of people in the world want to say. Is he don't know anything, he only knows American football.
What he knows about football, you could put on a postage stamp.
Yeah, but one of the first conversations he has with the chap that hosts Men in Blazers is the Men in Blazers bloke's obviously from England and he's American, and he said something along the lines of, growing up in America, do you guys play football? And Brady obviously has that laughter, like, yeah, well, I did it for 25 years, whatever. He goes, no, like, you guys call it soccer, but it's proper football. And he said his youth in Korea started as a soccer football player. And he played that till he was about 13, 14. From about 6 or 7 to about 13, 14, he played football. And then he realized he was better at American football and slowly got into playing that. And he was originally drafted as a catcher, not a quarterback. Slowly then started realizing that he had a good arm on him, a throw, and then slowly he transitioned into American football. So all the people that are sitting there and going, oh, he hasn't got a clue about football, he doesn't know the proper football rules or anything like that. He played for 8 years before he transitioned to a different sport. So he knows what the game is. He knows more about the game than people think. And the more and more that I've heard about him, the more you realize his sports knowledge is vast in a lot of different sports.
Yeah.
Like he plays, I think he said something like he plays tennis 3 times a week. Now you look at him, yeah, okay, you think, oh, okay, well, he's got the money to have a tennis court in his garden, but he was like, at 18, he started taking lessons to learn how to play properly. He's played rounders, softball, whatever, baseball over there, innit? He's played cricket in the past, American football. He's played rugby in the past. He's played football, and he's done a lot of things. And he said there's a lot of things you can take from little sports and improve them and create them into a different sport. And that's what he's trying to instill in our players now. Of if you play golf, you might find a way that helps you with relaxing when you come in to take that pressured putt. But that's what you need to be doing to relax in front of goal and think of that place and stuff. Happy Gilmore would be a good example of think of your happy place, think of your happy place, and just tap it in. That's what he's trying to do. You are.
Great film, by the way.
Yeah.
Bromley are beating Ipswich.
Crazy. But that's what he's trying to instill into players of think of your happy place when you're in that point.
Yeah.
Don't let the stress bother you and don't let it get to you to the point of you like Stansfield having a few of them snapshots. If he's just taking his time and he's calm on them balls on Friday, he probably gets another goal or two.
Yeah.
But it was just that quick rush, and he's trying to get that out of players of just relaxing that time. The biggest thing I took away from that podcast was how Brady was sold the idea of joining Wagner at Birmingham City. The initial pitch that Wagner put to Brady was that Birmingham City are a big club who are in the shit and they really need help. Brady then goes on to say, that intrigued me and made me want to turn it around into a success. And I said it to you earlier. I laughed when I watched it because I was like, you go to Tom Brady, one of the greatest sports people in America ever,
Yeah.
one of the goats of all sports of all time, and you say to him, I've got an idea to buy a club. Just so you know, though, it's fucking in the shit. It's at the lowest it can be. It can't get any worse.
Yeah.
Let's go make it a success. And he's gone, yeah, sound, I'm on that. And it kind of makes you wonder, like, there's a lot of honesty between them two.
Yeah.
It obviously works well for owning the club.
The best thing about that is you can relate that to Tom Brady's NFL career. He was the last pick in a draft. And then he's gone on to be the greatest of all time.
He was fourth choice at the Pats when he joined. And then
but he was also he was the last pick in a whole draft of 250 people, I think it is. The last guy. Imagine being at school and there's the whole school there, and you're the last person to be picked for a team, and then you go on to be the greatest player that school has ever seen. That is, if that doesn't say how that mentality has driven you forward, then I don't know what is. And if he's taking that into business, which he clearly is, then that's exactly what we need. But other clubs don't have that mentality in their owners, and it's a shame that what's happening with a few of the other clubs going on now. And we know we've been there. We've been on the brink and saving it, and we're thankful that we have someone that's come in and gone, let's save this absolute pile of steam and shit. We're so lucky we've got that.
Obviously, we don't know if he does or not, but if Tom Brady does watch our vlogs, just so you're aware, congratulations on the statue at the New England Patriots as well. Obviously, we know him as Birmingham City owner, but I've watched American football now for probably about 8-10 years, and I know you played a little bit. It's fully deserved, as much as Dukey deserves a statue at Blue. So, congratulations, Tom Brady, on that. Fully deserved and well done.
Another we'll go on that looks good too.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Niall Quinn.
Cristiano Ronaldo ones.
Yeah. I want to go on and talk to you about Morecambe. Mm-hmm. Now, I mentioned this on a video the other day. Our nan, one of our nans, is from Morecambe. So we obviously know what the community of Morecambe is about with their football club. They're currently owned by the Bond Group and Jason Whittingham, who have basically... They've had an offer accepted. They had an offer which they've accepted from Punjab Warriors to sell the club. But when Punjab Warriors have attempted to contact Bond and the Bond Group and Whittingham, they've basically been ignored. I got it here that the offer they put in was for 5.5 million to purchase Morecambe, which, let's be fair, for a National League team is a great investment. They have a great community and support around the club. This included a £3.8 million purchase price, a £1.7 million working capital, and they've also provided £6 million in loans to the club over the past 14 months. Bond and Whittingham have refused to sign for the sale of the club. Sounds a bit like BHSL. Morecambe have been suspended from the National League until the 20th of August, meaning the first 3 fixtures of the season have been suspended. And if they're not taken over within the next 8 days, they will face the same disciplinary that Bury faced and will be abolished as a football club and wiped from history. Obviously, as much as you look at football clubs, and obviously they're not local here, but you never wish that on anyone to have to experience their club going.
No.
I want to get your opinions on Bond and Whittingham, because what people might not know is other clubs they've owned. You have some knowledge on another one, being from the Worcestershire area. We
Yeah,
know them from owning Worcester Warriors,
yeah,
which they
we're a Premier League rugby team.
Premier League rugby team. They were winning trophies. They were up there. Bond and Whittingham made them go into administration. They stalled with the sale of the rugby club, which they sold it for assets. It went into administration, gone. Now under new owners and now on the way back. But obviously, what are your thoughts, obviously, on Morecambe, the
Yeah,
potential situation they face, but also the Bond and Whittingham being allowed to buy a football club when they've done that with Worcester Warriors and had the issues with the Wasps as well?
I mean they did it to the Wasps, they did it to a cricket club, and they've done it to the Warriors. They were never going to do anything different at Morecambe, and the ownership tests, that the fit and proper tests. I don't know what they're testing their fit and proper for. Look at the owners we've had, like they weren't fit and proper. Carson Young was being actually quizzed about money laundering at the time of his purchase of us. So it's like, how are these people passed a fit and proper test? Then we start getting looked at by Lauren Bassini. Never should pass a fit and proper test either. And I feel bad for Morecambe. They're a small little club. I'm surprised Tommy, the Furies haven't had a little bit of a nibble. But at the end of the day, if the owners aren't willing to sell, then that's just the same thing is going to happen that what happened at Worcester Warriors. They've had to completely rebuild as a new team, fight for a ground, fight for anything, became fan owned, and then slowly building their way back up. I've actually got my season ticket again for this year for the Worcester Warriors to go and support them and watch the rugby. But it's absolutely disgusting behaviour, and like how have they passed a test to own a football club after literally folding 3 sports clubs before? Um, it infuriates me knowing what we've been through as well. That literally could have been us. Literally, like I reckon if we hadn't have sold Jude, that probably would have been us. And I just think something needs to change when you got that, and you've got all these other owners coming in to the other clubs where they're not investing and they're not
Yeah.
doing what they should, and they're just taking the money and they're stripping out anything they possibly can. They're not paying people's wages. They're not paying the players. They're not paying the cleaners. They're ending everything. I can't remember who it is, but one team's got 5 players, 5 professional players.
Sheffield Wednesday in a minute.
Sheffield Wednesday got 5 professional players. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. How have the owners been allowed to do that, and how come the EFL don't step in and do something when they can see it's clearly going that way?
This is the bit that, trust me, I've got it right down here. The deal to sell the club to Punjab Warriors was approved by the EFL early in June. Punjab Warriors said last week that they had already paid a £3.8 million to Bond Group, alongside a separate payment of £630,000 to clear any outstanding loans against the club. So that was on the 4th of July, that was posted. That was to say that a month later, after having it agreed by the EFL that Punjab Warriors were suitable to buy the club, that they've still not been able to take it over because the Bond Group and Whittingham will not sign the paperwork to sell the club. So they're theoretically stalling the process after the EFL have agreed it. I feel like this is where the EFL need to come in and be saying, you've signed that, you've agreed that, that's been paid, then
Yeah,
it's got to go kind of thing. You've got to sell on. And I just feel sorry for Morecambe fans. I've seen a lot of obviously outreach at the moment of there's some clubs out there that are offering their fans chance to go to games for free because they're season ticket holders and whatnot. I'm just trying to get the other bit of information I got up here about Sheffield Wednesday. We'll veer onto that and then we'll we'll end it there.
Muzza King has said it's a disgrace. The EFL, Premier League, and the FA should all be ashamed of themselves, making rates of money while some fans lose their club. It's disgusting, and I completely agree. What are they being paid for? What are they actually running? What are the checks they're doing? Because it's clearly not working, and something really needs to change. It happened years and years ago with like Leeds, and then Portsmouth, and then like it's
You've
happening
had other
more and more
clubs
at the
like
moment.
Bury obviously went to a point they disappeared.
Yeah,
Macclesfield got knocked down leagues. Southend have had the same
yeah.
situation.
We've been
Um,
on the brink for God knows how long. If
yeah,
we didn't
we
have
were on the
June,
brink. There's a few other clubs. I know Cardiff were there at one point. But if we switch section to go back to Championship and go Sheffield Wednesday,
yeah,
2,000 fans, away fans on Saturday refused to go into the ground for the first 5 minutes to make a statement against Chancery as Wednesday fans wanted to sell the club. There was an interview I read that was with an 84-year-old Sheffield Wednesday fan has described the situation as the worst situation Wednesday have been in my whole life. HMRC hasn't been paid, delayed salaries for players and staff, transfers, embargoes, managers have left, players have left. They have around 5 first-team players. Although the debts have now been paid and the embargo has been lifted, time's still rough as fans are waiting for Chancery to sell the club. Chancery is wanting a reported £100 million for Sheffield Wednesday. They have rejected a £30 million and £40 million bid for the club. Even fans have said they are screwed if Chancery is waiting for the club to get an offer of £100 million. And then I got the information: Blues were brought for £6 million for 45.64% stake of the club,
where did he get
with an
100 million
estimated
from?
value. Not a clue, but the estimated value at the time that Blues were brought was £22 million for 100%. Sheffield United were brought last year for £111 million, and that was for a recently relegated Premier League team pushing in the Championship to get back where they were. And Leeds, last time they were in the Premier League, were bought for £170 million by the 49ers enterprise. But again, they were a Premier League team, obviously unfortunate to get relegated. So you sit there looking at the situation they're in and the situation we're in, and we were only worth £22 million for 100%.
Yeah,
If I was offered £30 million or £40 million for the club, you've got to be taking those sales, because that, I get, obviously the guy's owned it for however long he's owned it and he's got
yeah.
money in it and whatever, but he's not doing himself any favors, and he's just dragging the club down, and everyone's got him to finish bottom. Like you said, they've got 5 professional players. They've had Barry
That's
Bannon sign a
ridiculous.
new contract on such a massive pay cut just because he wanted to play football, and it's ridiculous that I said it in to the Sheffield United bet I was talking to again the other day, that if I think the one rule that should change is how you sell a club. If you want to sell your club, you theoretically sell it to the EFL. The EFL then sell it for you, like an estate agent. So I feel like Chansiri should be going to the EFL. I want to
That's
sell my
essentially
club.
what they do with the fit and proper checks anyway. But what are they actually fit and proper
Yeah.
checking?
But if you're Chansiri, you go to the EFL, look, I want to sell. I want 100 million.
They'll
If
tell you
someone
to
comes in
jog
at
on.
yeah, but if someone comes in at £40 million to the EFL and says, I want to buy Sheffield Wednesday, I'll offer 40 million. They're then to then go, well, they want 100, you want 40. If we say 60, Chansiri then has to take whatever the EFL sell it for.
Yeah,
They should have a minimum and a max, and that's what they've got to sell it between. And it has to be a decent, or they have it valuated at whatever price it is.
yeah.
And I feel like the EFL should be right. We've agreed to the sale. This is being sold. As of this set date, you no longer own that club. It's now in this person's name. You
Not
do all
that
that.
easy with business though. But I know what you're saying. But from a point of view, like that's what the EFL are meant to be doing with the fit and proper checks and the other checks that they do.
Yeah,
Um, like they're meant to be making sure they're good and all that sort of stuff. That they're not checking shit. Like I don't know if they're able to be bribed or whatever with money, but some of the owners that have owned football clubs, or they should have an effort now where, for example, they can see what Chanzeri's doing and send in people that actually look after it and sort it and take the running of the club off him. Um, and use the actual money coming into the club from the fans and all that sort of stuff, because it's only the fans that end up paying for everything anyway. Those people paid a fortune to go to Leicester to watch their game, to stand outside for 5 minutes just to make an effort to say, get up, like, sell the club. Like, we did tennis balls, and it still relates to one of the greatest moments of all time when that steward
Steward on the pitch.
stayed on the thing. But like it shouldn't need to get to that. And it
Yeah, I
should
know what you
it
mean.
should be somewhere where they're coming in, they're picking it up and going, this is actually wrong. So for that, instead of sorting a club out, like finding a club or getting a club relegated, they should be going in and going, this owner needs this training or this, or he gets his assets frozen or something like that, and then it's run by receivers. That's
I
what
think
should happen.
the other thing that you look at, like our club situation, it was over multiple years, but like Sheffield Wednesday haven't been a bad club for 3-4 years, and that's the problem. It's very much out the blue. I
Yeah.
feel like one of the rules they should be bringing in is these fit and proper tests that they're doing and the due diligence and all this. I think it should start being done yearly on every club, or a select amount of clubs a year, and making it you don't just get into the club and then you stay in the club and you don't have another check. They should be doing them more often and making sure that
Yeah.
you're still able to run that club. And in 12 months' time, are you still going to be able to run it how you are now, or is it going to be in 12 months' time you're going to have no money, your club's going to be in the shit, your fans are going to start suffering, like what's happened with Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
Very much one of those where there's plenty of other clubs out there that have situations going on, but I think we will leave that topic for another day and call it a day. I'm going to apologise now if anyone hears my child. She doesn't want to go to sleep. She's just screaming in the background, shouting the night. But we'll leave it there until next week. Going forward, just so you guys are all aware, the Unplugged sessions are going to be coming to you every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. If by any chance Blues do have a game on that Wednesday, we will be bringing it to you on a Thursday. But like you have had this week, you will have plenty of notice for the next session. As always, drop your thoughts and opinions in the comments. We will be going over in the next couple of days and trying to reply back to a few people that come in after the video. We always like to have a chat, and we try to make it as much as we can about you guys and what you want to hear. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what your thoughts are going on. Let us know what kind of topics you'd like us to discuss, and any ideas you have. Obviously, we had the competition that ended last week. Again, congratulations, David. It was a very good competition and well received. Let us know in the comments what other competitions you want to see. What else would you like to see us offer? Would you like to see match day tickets available, club shops credit, shirts again, other merchandise? Let us know down below what you want to see, and we're going to do our best to bring to you. Keep your eyes out on the channel. There are some very, very big things coming soon. Very much big things that you guys will be able to get involved with. We do everything for you guys and make sure that we do the best for you. So just make sure to keep your eye on it. And unless you've got anything else to add, Kieran, I think we're all done here. So
no, that's me. I'm ready to check out and head off for brush my teeth and head off to bed, I think. So
perfect. So catch you all next Wednesday, 7:30, same places, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And as always, keep right on.
keep right on.